it's Riikka here. This time I'm doing some magnets. With this project I wanted to show that embossing powders tackle a lot of different surfaces, so I'm doing these on top of wooden buttons that I found from a craft store. I'm first inking my stamp with the WoW embossing ink and then stamping it to the wooden button and using Ebony, the black embossing powder, to emboss the image. On top of wood you need to be careful not to overheat the powder so it still stays puffy. To add resist to the creepy crawly I have on my button, I use the Seth Apter mixed media embossing brush. I use clear embossing powder to emboss the image and create a lovely thick layer so I can actually make it resist acrylic paint. The brush is an easy tool to use to add embossing ink to big surfaces like the whole creepy crawly. Then I use clear embossing powder on top and emboss the bug. Again, be careful not to overheat. I repeat the process to each of the buttons, there's 5 of them, by adding the stamped creepy crawly on top, using black embossing powder to emboss that, and then make a resist using the clear embossing powder. Now that all the buttons are embossed, I can use acrylic paint on top. I mix in several different colors, and as you can see, I'm painting over the bugs. Because of the thick layer of the embossing powder, I'm able to remove the paint later on. When you're painting the buttons, remember to paint the edges as well, so the paint continues kind of throughout the button. Then let the paints dry up a little bit and take a baby wipe or a rag and start rubbing the center, the bug, free from acrylic paint. As it's kind of plastic against plastic, it's pretty easy to reveal the embossed image again. If it feels difficult to remove the paint, add a little bit of water. Now here's the buttons painted. I'm adding some embossed details to the background, so I'm using the leaf stamp and the WoW embossing ink, stamping the images to the button and then sprinkling different powders on top to make a varying layer of powders. I add them individually so I can add the rest back to the jar, and then I use a small soft brush to brush away any of the powders that are on top of the bug. Then I heat the powders and repeat the procedure to each button. To finish the buttons, I use a black paint marker and add a thin line around the edge, kind of framing the button. Then I use a superglue and add here some magnets to the back of each button. And the magnets are done. Here's some detailed shots still. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.